So let's talk about how to never run out of photo opportunities. I get it, we've all been there. We've all had days where we feel unmotivated, uninspired, and think that there's really nothing to photograph around us. And we just end up staying at home, not taking out our camera, and just counting down the days to our next travel holidays. But that's not going to be very realistic, right? I mean, we can't always be traveling all the time unless you're doing this full time. Sometimes it still comes as a surprise to me that I've been running this YouTube channel for over 4 years now. And although I do post a number of travel content whenever I can, and it's still going to be a very important part of what inspires my photography, for the most part I've been doing my shoots locally, and this consistency is mostly thanks to me being able to form a habit of just going out and exploring my local neighborhood, coming from the pressure of having to go out every week to make some YouTube content. So it's probably a chicken and egg situation at this point. So try dedicating some days just exploring your local neighborhood and trying to find those hidden gems around you. I do think that most places, if not all, will have them one way or another, and have that sort of tourist mindset when you go out. Because I do think that a lot of the uninspiration that we have from our local neighborhoods is that it's going to be something that we see every day, so it's not going to be exciting anymore. But always remember that what is not exciting for you might be exciting for other people as well. So try to have that alternative framing in mind. And I know that some of you might say that I already live in Hong Kong. It's a very, very photogenic city, and that is going to be true. There's a lot of hikes that I can explore, some landscapes, and there's a lot of nice streets that I can explore for some street photography. But one downside to Hong Kong is that it's quite small. I can probably go to one end of Hong Kong all the way to the other in just 2 hours. And even though there's a lot of hiking spots that I can visit, a lot of the views are actually quite similar to each other, and there's only so many ways I can try to compose the cityscape views over here. We're now at the painful part of this trail, the steepest part, all the way to Lion Rock Peak. So welcome to Lion Rock Peak. That's one impressive cityscape views. So let me just set up real quick and then I'll get back to you in a little bit. So if you already think that you've already exhausted all the hidden gems that you can think of around your area, don't let that dishearten you, because you can always revisit old locations. And I know, it sounds a bit boring to just revisit old locations because you've already seen them before. And that's actually how I thought about it when I first started photography. Whenever I already visited the location, I'll never think twice about going back there again, and I'll just keep hunting for new things to photograph. But that said, it is quite unlikely that you've come away with the best possible image during your first visit. So if you've seen some of the masterpieces of the professional photographers out there, it is likely that those photos are the results of the cumulative efforts of fine-tuning the compositions and waiting for the right moments and being there at the right time, which, if you're not so lucky, it could take years for that right moment to come. Just like Mark today. How many times have you been here in Lion Rock?
2 times.
And how many times have you seen this view?
Just today.
As for me, I don't really remember how many times I've already hiked the Lion Rock, but each time I come here, I come away with a different set of photos, because even if you revisit the same places over and over again, you can come away with different compositions, or you can consider visiting it at a different time of day, different set of conditions as well. So for example, if you've taken a photo during a burning sky, golden hour, sunset kind of composition, then you can aim to shoot it on a foggy day to have a different mood and atmosphere. Or if you have had a composition where you've used a wide-angle shot for your composition, you can change up your perspective and use a telephoto and try to find some details where you can zoom in. That's really one way to keep coming away with different sets of photos that appear fresh, even though they're taken from the same locations. And yeah, so we just caught the last glimpse of the sunset. Not a lot of color today because the clouds are pretty thick, but the main agenda for today, it's quite ambitious, because currently it is the Chinese New Year celebrations here in Hong Kong, and later tonight there's going to be some fireworks display, and I wanted to use this mountain as my vantage point. I'm opting for this composition, just straight out shooting the cityscape, and then I do like the thick cloud layer at the top part, and then there's an opening in between the clouds and the cityscape and the mountain peaks behind, where there's still a pop of color of the yellow hues from the sun that just set. And it really adds a nice touch that the city lights are already turning on. Speaking of fresh perspectives, I also brought my drone that day, and thank God I did, as I took one of my best drone photos so far. Just impressive layers and an epic landscape formation of Lion Rock. One more tip about revisiting the old locations. I guess maybe you can spread it out so that you don't have to revisit each location every week or even every month. After some time, it might feel a bit fresh, and then you might find some different compositions that you would have otherwise overlooked. Right now, I have my big boy lens, the 100 to 400 telephoto. My challenge right now is that it's very, very windy, so I need to pump up the ISO quite a little bit so that I can avoid some minor shakes within the tripod and the lens. Otherwise, there's going to be some motion blur and the whole photo will be quite blurry. But right now, really nice cityscape view. I'm just really zooming in to some of the prominent skyscrapers here in Hong Kong. Just really stunning, stunning, stunning. So I guess this experience tonight could also be counted as a bonus tip to the theme of never running out of photo opportunities, which is try to keep looking out for festivities or different celebrations around your area. So right now it's going to be Chinese New Year. It's very, very festive, and I wanted to capture how Hong Kong celebrates this very special day. And you can probably do that as well within your local neighborhoods. Yep, so while waiting for the fireworks display, Mark and I just opened our alcoholic beverages. I'm having soju, he's having beer, and he brought some nuts. We like nuts. But what more can you ask for? Mountain views, alcohol. This is the best rooftop bar in Hong Kong right now. So right now, my issue with the composition is that there might be some overlap with the fireworks and the skyscrapers behind. So that might look like it's going to be a cluttered composition. I still think the ideal composition for the fireworks is shooting it from the sides where you can see the gap between the harbor and separating the Hong Kong Island side and the Kowloon side. And that's exactly what I did around 2 years ago when I shot the fireworks display in Braemar Hill. But I don't want to repeat that experience because it's just really, really crowded. It's a very popular spot for watching the fireworks. And just like that, the fireworks started. A quick tip in shooting is to make sure to catch the first ones to avoid having a lot of smoke surround the background. So settings right now, I'm on the bulb mode so that I can really control how long I want the shutter speed will be, and then I'm of course using a remote trigger cable so that I can avoid all the camera shake whenever I touch the shutter button. F8, ISO 250, and then just firing away. Plenty of shots. Interestingly, the photos turned out a lot better than I thought it would be. Since I had some cityscapes in the foreground, the fireworks in between created nice separation with the taller buildings further away in the background. I actually took hundreds of photos that day, but will only share a handful as the compositions are mostly similar and just different patterns from the fireworks. But man, using a telephoto for this shoot and taking advantage of that compression effect worked out really well. Well, that was definitely an interesting shoot, but it's time for me to hike down now and have my dinner. So see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.